In this video, I want to talk about the muscles of the hand. Let's start with the palmar aspect of the hand, the anterior hand. The hand is divided into three different regions. At the base of the thumb, we have the compartment known as the thenar compartment. These are muscles that will provide movement for the thumb. At the base of the little finger, the digiti minimi, we have what is called the hypothenar compartment. And then between those two compartments, we have the mid-palmar space. The thenar compartment is comprised of three muscles: the abductor pollicis brevis, the flexor pollicis brevis, and the opponens pollicis. These models show all three of those muscles, although they are not exactly anatomically accurate on these models. On this model, we can see a muscle here coming from the trapezium and going fairly lateral out to the base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb. That would be the abductor pollicis brevis muscle. Also coming from the trapezium, a little bit of the trapezoid, and part of the flexor retinaculum, we have a muscle that will come out over the anterior aspect of the first metacarpal to insert at the base of the proximal phalanx of the thumb. That will be the flexor pollicis brevis muscle. Deep to both of those muscles, we will see a muscle that comes from the trapezium and the trapezoid and crosses over to insert on the lateral aspect of the base, or the lateral aspect of the first metacarpal bone. That muscle is called the opponens pollicis muscle. On this model, we can see a little bit of the opponens pollicis right here. If this were an actual cadaver hand, we would have to move the abductor pollicis brevis and the flexor pollicis brevis and look deep between them to see the opponens pollicis. So the three muscles of the thenar compartment of the hand: the abductor pollicis brevis, the flexor pollicis brevis, and the opponens pollicis. The thenar compartment of the hand and the hypothenar compartment of the hand are almost mirror images of each other. If we look at the hypothenar compartment of the hand, we will see three muscles on this compartment. The model makes no attempt to show us those three muscles, but the three muscles would be the abductor digiti minimi, the flexor digiti minimi, and the opponens digiti minimi. In the mid-palmar space, we have several different muscles. We have muscles known as the lumbrical muscles, and we have the adductor pollicis muscle, as well as interossei muscle. On this model, we can see only a small portion of the adductor pollicis muscle right here. The adductor pollicis muscle actually has two heads, a transverse head and an oblique head. This model does not show the transverse head. And we have lumbrical muscles in the mid-palmar space. This model only shows one lumbrical muscle here going to the second digit. But there are lumbricals that should go to the digits 2, 3, 4, and 5. What we see deep in the palm of the hand on this model are the palmar interossei muscles. The palmar interossei muscles. Those are the only muscles we can see in the palmar aspect of this model. The dorsal aspect of the hand really only has one muscle group, and that is the dorsal interossei muscles. There are four dorsal interossei muscles. As their name implies, interossei is between bones. So imagine the first and second metacarpal, second and third metacarpal, third, fourth, fourth, fifth. Between those bones, we should see dorsal interossei muscles. Here's our first dorsal interossei, our second, our third, and our fourth dorsal interossei muscle. Dorsal interossei muscles are mainly abductors of the digits. Dorsal interossei abduct. In this model, we can see, if we look past the first dorsal interossei, there's a little bit of muscle here, which is actually part of the palmar aspect of the hand. This was part of the transverse head of the adductor pollicis muscle. So that is all we can see on the dorsal aspect of the hand.